So from a congenital anomaly, we go on to our old-fashioned carcinomas. This is a case of a 45-year-old lady with a left suprarenal mass, which on CECT was shown to have a lobulated appearance and small nodular calcifications. On gross examination, when we received the entire adrenal gland, we found it was quite a big tumor, and it measured around 13 into 10 into 6, and it weighed around half a kilogram. The external surface was intact, meaning there was no invasion, and the tumor showed a solid and yellowish appearance. There were a few gritty areas. Um, Let us go on to the focus of today, that is the digital pathology slides. So straight away, this is this kind of panoramic views, scanner views are the best thing about digital pathology. And you can see the section, the entire section here, it's on 0.25x zoom. And here straight away you can see that there is a rim of normal appearing thyroid, sorry, adrenal. And the tumor, as far as the tumor is considered, it is fairly circumscribed and it is encapsulated. And even at this magnification of 1x, you can see that the tumor is diffusely composed of a single type of cells. There are no other patterns as such, it's just a diffuse architecture. And the cells are actually oncocytic. Majority of the cells are oncocytic, meaning that they are large cells with abundant eosinophilic and granular cytoplasm, which you can see on this high 40x magnification. And there are a few clear cells. Let me just go to that section and show. There are a few clear cells, as you can see in this particular focus, but they are few and far in between. You can see in a sea of oncocytic cells, you are seeing a cluster of small clear cells. There is the nuclei showed a lot of pleomorphism, as you can see here. I'm panning in the same section, and you can see there is considerable nuclear pleomorphism here. You are seeing bizarre forms, you are seeing multinucleated forms, and there are nuclear pseudo include, again another focus showing the pleomorphism, and there are pseudo inclusions in most of these nuclei, so which are again a sign of the nuclear membrane irregularities. As you can see here, the pseudo inclusions. There are foci of sinusoidal invasion. As you can see in this, within the tumor, the sinusoids are showing scattered tumor cells within the lumen, but there is no venous invasion in multiple sections. We took some 10 12 sections, and there was no multiple no venous invasion. There was also a very scanty mitotic activity, which is also a very important finding. We found, as you know, in adrenal cortical neoplasms, we study around 50 consecutive high power fields, and in those, we found around 2 or 3 mitoses. Uh, there were foci of capsular invasion, though. As you can see in this particular focus, the capsule is thickened, and then there are these foci. Again, the panoramic view making its presence count over here. There is foci of calcification, and there is again a little bit of normal adrenal over here. So let us go back to the presentation now. Okay, so this is a summary of the relevant findings, and these findings led us to a diagnosis of oncocytic adrenal cortical neoplasm of uncertain malignant potential of left adrenal. And we will discuss exactly why we arrived at this diagnosis. And as we know, adrenocortical neoplasms are tumors with a varied morphology, and the prediction of malignant behavior depends on assessment of these WISE criteria. They are a set of 9 morphological features, and more than or equal to 3 uh, features indicate malignant behavior. The problem with oncocytic neoplasms of adrenal gland are that by definition these tumor already qualify for carcinomas. They are tumors with diffuse architecture, as we saw in our case. They are composed almost exclusively of oncocytic cells, and they are generally tumors with a high nuclear grade and nuclear pleomorphism. So are these all tumors malignant by default? No, they are not. They don't behave in a malignant fashion, not always anyway. So WISE criteria for oncocytic neoplasms are not appropriate, And therefore in 2004 this group led by Dr. Biseglia and including Dr. Weiss as well, they reviewed the adrenocortical oncocytic tumors and they came up with a set of revised criteria uh, which are to be applied only for oncocytic tumors. They So in these criteria in this paper they defined oncocytic tumors with tumors which contain almost exclusively oncocytic cells, the tumors that have high nuclear grade and diffuse architecture. And after this definition, after you have arrived at a diagnosis of oncocytic neoplasm, then you apply these major and minor criteria, and presence of any one major criterion will indicate a malignant behavior, and 1 to 4 minor criteria indicate uncertain malignant potential. So in our case, for example, we had the tumor was around 13 centimeter. It weighed definitely more than 200 gram. We did not have any necrosis in the multiple sections that we saw. There was sinusoidal invasion and there was capsular invasion. However, there was no venous invasion. So this particular case was best diagnosed as a tumor of uncertain malignant potential. Okay. Uh, Coming briefly to oncocytic adrenal cortical neoplasms, these are rare cases. First case has been has been reported in 1986, and till then, till 2020, 228 cases have been reported. They are mostly incidentally detected in that hormonal production is generally not seen. Female preponderance is seen, and when males do get this disease, they are at a higher risk for malignancy. Average age of diagnosis in various reported cases has been around 44 years, and prognostication of these tumors is necessary, and we do it by these lean Weiss Biseglia criteria. And the reason for that is that the tumors with which qualify as benign in this with this criteria will have a very good prognosis, and tumors will with malignant features will have a very guarded prognosis. So this is a recent review done on the topic in 2018. This group reviewed around 140 cases, and they actually applied the lean Weiss Biseglia criteria very strictly, and they in fact reclassified some of the tumors. And after all of that effort, they came to these insights. So in their view, in their review, around 65% of the tumor were either malignant or potentially so. Hormonal status did not have any impact on behavior. The 16% recurrence rate was reported by this group, and most of these recurrences were within a 5-year follow-up period. Most important insight perhaps is that synoptophysin positivity and vimentin negativity actually indicated a benign behavior.